You have seen them. The men and women who walk into a room and the center of gravity shifts. They don't have to be the loudest. They don't have to be the most beautiful. But they have an aura, a magnetic pull that makes you want to listen, to follow, to please. You call it charisma. You think it's a natural gift, something you are either born with or not. That is the first lie they told you. Charisma is not a gift. It is a technology, a learnable skill. And today, we are going to give you the blueprint. You have tried to be more influential. You have tried to be more attractive. You read the books. You follow the advice. Be authentic. Be transparent. Be vulnerable. Share your story. You became an open book, revealing your fears, your hopes, your every thought. You made yourself completely available, always ready to respond, always eager to please. You were the nice guy, the honest friend, the open partner. And what happened? You were not respected. You were used. You were not admired. You were taken for granted. You were seen as predictable, and therefore utterly boring. You gave away your power in the naive belief that people reward honesty and openness. They don't. People are not drawn to what is simple and clear. They are drawn to what is complex and mysterious. They are drawn to the puzzle they cannot solve. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli, a master of psychological warfare, understood this. He knew that true power and influence do not come from being an open book. They come from being a book that people are desperate to read, but can never fully finish. The secret to being dangerously charismatic, to being magnetic, is not in what you reveal. It is in what you strategically conceal. Today, we will deconstruct Machiavelli's forbidden code for building a magnetic aura. A code built on the brutal, beautiful, and uncomfortable paradoxes of human desire. The fundamental mistake most people make is confusing being liked with being respected or desired. To be liked, you must be predictable, harmless, and accommodating. You must fit in. To be respected and desired, you must be slightly dangerous, unpredictable, and self-possessed. You must stand out. You must create a sense of tension, a feeling that you possess a hidden depth, a secret world that others are not fully privy to. This is not about being a jerk or a manipulator for the sake of it. It is about understanding the raw psychology of attraction. Attraction is not born from comfort. It is born from intrigue. It is born from the unknown. Machiavelli's code for charisma is a three-step process for manufacturing that intrigue. It is a guide to becoming the puzzle. The first pillar of this art is the economy of the word. Society tells you to communicate, to overshare, to be a good listener, by constantly validating and responding. This is a trap. The more you talk, the more you risk saying something foolish. The more you explain, the more you give away your power and your mystery. As Robert Greene wrote in the 48 Laws of Power, a direct descendant of Machiavelli's thought, when you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. This isn't only about staying quiet. It's about being sharp. When you speak, your words should cut clean like a blade. No cliches, no filler. Speak in clear lines, not weak questions. Use stories and images that suggest more than they say. This makes people lean in and think. The more effort they put into grasping your meaning, the more weight your words carry. This is not just about being quiet. It is about being precise. When you do speak, your words should be like a surgeon's scalpel, clean, effective, and never wasted. Avoid cliches. Avoid filler words. Speak in statements, not in questions. Use metaphors and stories that hint at a deeper meaning rather than spelling everything out. This forces the listener to engage, to interpret, to work for your meaning. And the more work they invest in understanding you, the more valuable your words become. Let's make this practical. You're on a date. The common advice is to ask a lot of questions and show a lot of interest. The Machiavellian approach is different. You speak less. You listen more, but you don't just listen passively. You listen for their values, their fears, their unfulfilled desires. When you speak, skip small talk about shows or hobbies. Reflect what you hear in a deeper way. If she says she's tired of her job, don't just say, "That's too bad." Pause, look at her, and say, "Sounds like part of you wants something bigger." You haven't shared anything about yourself, but you've shown her you see her clearly. That mirror is more powerful than any story about you. The economy of the word is about creating value through scarcity. In a world drowning in noise, the man who masters silence is king. His words are not just sounds, they are currency, and he spends them wisely. This creates an aura of depth and intelligence. People will assume that because you are not speaking, you are thinking, that you know something they don't, and they will become desperate to find out what it is. The second pillar of the art of mystery is the mastery of ambiguity. The human mind is a meaning-making machine. It hates a vacuum. It hates a puzzle it cannot solve. When you are an open book, you are a solved puzzle. You are predictable. You are boring. But when you are ambiguous, when your motives are not entirely clear, you become a source of obsessive thought. People will lie awake at night trying to figure you out. A modern Machiavellian never shows his full hand. He speaks in layers. His praise can feel like an insult. His promises stay vague. He mixes traits so you can't place him. At times, he's warm and giving. Other times, he's cold and locked on his goal. This isn't confusion. It's design. He wants you to feel uncertain. A confused mind keeps searching. And the more someone thinks about you, the tighter your hold on them. Think of the most charismatic figures in history or fiction. Are they simple? Are they easy to read? No, they are walking contradictions. They are part saints, part sinners, part warriors, part poets. They are compassionate but cruel. They are spiritual but worldly. This complexity is what makes them magnetic. You can never fully grasp them, so you keep trying. You must learn to consciously cultivate this strategic ambiguity. In conversation, use metaphors and stories instead of direct, factual statements. When asked a direct question about your feelings or your future plans, give an intriguing but non-committal answer. I'm exploring some ancient maps. I'm following a certain feeling. We'll see what the gods have in store. This forces others to invest their own mental and emotional energy into figuring you out. They are no longer passive recipients of your personality. They are active co-creators of your aura. They project their own hopes, desires, and fears onto the blank screen you have so skillfully provided. And in doing so, They are becoming deeply, hopelessly entangled with you. This is not deception in the crude sense of the word. It is seduction in its highest form. You are not lying about who you are. You are simply refusing to make it easy for them. You are making yourself a work of art, a complex novel, a deep and challenging piece of music. And art is meant to be interpreted, not just understood. It is meant to be felt, not just cataloged. Let's apply this. Someone at a party asks you, "So, what do you do?" The predictable person gives their job title. The Machiavellian gives a riddle. "I'm a merchant of ideas. I'm a professional secret keeper. I help people remember who they are." This response does two things. It breaks the boring script of social interaction, and it opens a powerful loop of curiosity. They now have to work. They have to ask more questions. You have just taken control of the entire frame of the conversation. You are no longer just another accountant or engineer. You are a mystery, and a mystery is always more interesting than a fact. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. Niccolò Machiavelli. The third and most advanced law is the alchemy of pleasure and pain. This is the most dangerous and most effective tool in the arsenal of charisma. Most people believe that to attract others, you must only provide pleasure, compliments, gifts, constant agreement, and validation. This is the strategy of the fool, the nice guy, and it creates not attraction, but boredom, contempt, and entitlement. Machiavelli, drawing on his ruthless observation of human nature, understood a darker, more potent truth. Pleasure is only truly felt, only truly valued, when it is contrasted with its absence or with pain. The master of charisma understands how to use this emotional seesaw. This is not about being abusive. Let's be very clear. It is about being unpredictable. It is about understanding that constant warmth leads to people taking you for granted. It makes you predictable. It makes you safe. And safety is the enemy of desire. But a strategic withdrawal of that warmth, followed by its unexpected and generous return, creates a powerful feeling of relief and gratitude. It creates a psychological bond that feels like addiction. This is the pattern at the heart of all great love stories and all tragic romances. The push and the pull, the hope and the fear, the presence and the absence. The master of this art gives attention, praise, and intense affection. And just when the other person feels comfortable, secure, and certain of you, he pulls it away. He becomes distant, busy, preoccupied with his mission. This creates a moment of panic and self-doubt in the other person. What did I do wrong? Am I losing them? They begin to work harder for your approval. They begin to value your presence more, now that they have experienced its absence. And then, when you return with your warmth and affection, it feels not like a normal interaction, but like a life-saving rain in a desert. This must be done with immense skill and subtlety. If you are too cruel, you will be seen as a monster and rightfully rejected. If you are too predictable in your pattern, the game will be obvious and you will be seen as a manipulator. But if you can master this unpredictable rhythm of giving and taking away, of creating tension and then providing a beautiful release, you become the source of their most intense emotional experiences. And people do not fall in love with people. They fall in love with the way people make them feel. You are not just a person to them anymore. You are a feeling, a drug, and they will do anything to feel it again. Think of it as training. You are training them to associate you with a full spectrum of emotion, not just the flat line of comfort. You are showing them that your approval is not a given. It is a prize. And by doing so, you paradoxically become more valuable, more respected, and more desired. This is the alchemy. You are using the base metal of their fear of loss to create the gold of their devotion. So you see the code, the economy of the word, the mastery of ambiguity, the alchemy of pleasure and pain. These are not separate, slimy tactics to be used in isolation. They are three pillars of a single, powerful strategy. They are the architecture of mystery. Charisma is not about being a source of constant light and warmth. It is about being a master of shadows and contrast. It is not about revealing your true, authentic self. It is about making others so obsessed with the mystery of you that they reveal their true, authentic selves to you. The ultimate power of charisma is not to be seen, but to see. You are not the performer on the stage, desperate for applause. You are the silent director of the entire psychological play. You are not playing the game. You are the game. So how do you begin to practice this forbidden art without becoming a cold, calculating monster? You start with small, deliberate acts of defiance against your own nice and open programming. You are not changing who you are. You are simply learning to control what you project. First, practice strategic delay. For the next week, I want you to conduct an experiment. Do not respond to any non-urgent text message or email immediately. Wait an hour. Wait until the end of the day. Get comfortable with the idea that the world does not need your instant response. You are not an emergency service for other people's needs. You are a king, and kings do not rush. They act on their own timeline. Observe how this small shift changes the dynamic. Notice how people start to value your responses more, simply because they are not instantaneous. Second, practice the art of the vague answer. When someone asks a personal question you'd rather not answer, don't lie. Be unclear on purpose. If they ask what you did over the weekend, skip the details. Say, had a few adventures, then smile and move on. If they ask about your future, say, I'm working on a new path. Let them guess. What they picture is often stronger than what you could ever explain. Third, give one unexpected, strategic compliment. Find someone you want to influence. Observe them for a week. Do not listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Find one specific non-obvious quality you genuinely admire. Their discipline, their courage in a difficult meeting, their quiet kindness to someone unimportant. And in a quiet moment, tell them, not in a needy, approval-seeking way, but as a calm, objective observation from a position of equal or higher status. I saw how you handled that situation. It was impressive. And then, walk away. You have just planted a seed of powerful, positive emotion. They will think about that compliment for days. You have just taken the first step in the alchemy of pleasure and pain without any manipulation. You have given a moment of pure, unexpected pleasure. The contrast will make it unforgettable. You have been taught that being open and honest is the path to connection. But you have learned through painful experience that it is often the path to being taken for granted. Machiavelli's wisdom is not an invitation to become a cold manipulator. It is an invitation to understand the true, dark, and beautiful mechanics of human desire. It is an invitation to play the game of life with skill, with intention, and with power. It is about respecting yourself enough to not give all of yourself away to those who have not earned it. It is a common fault of men not to reckon on storms in fair weather. Niccolò Machiavelli. Human interaction is like the open sea. Most people drift, pushed around by their own needs and the needs of others. A man with charisma doesn't try to dodge the storm. He knows how to read the wind, set his sails, and ride it to where he wants to go. He isn't just along for the trip. He is the captain. If this message has resonated with you, if you are tired of being an open book that no one bothers to read, if you are ready to become the mystery that everyone wants to solve, then make your declaration. Join the others who are choosing to be the composer, not just the instrument. Go to the comments and write, "I am the mystery." It is a declaration of your new presence, a commitment to your own unfathomable depth. Subscribe to the Thinker's Codex. The real game is just beginning.